Remember what I was talking about?
We were going over.
Oh, you were talking about Mars and me angry.
Yeah, Mars and
Yeah.
the Moon. Yeah, Mars and the Moon. So when we talk about these things, you have to realize that we have an aspect. It doesn't mean it overwhelms us. For example, okay, Saturn, Mars square, Elena has that because she's born with that. But she utilizes that energy in a way that is very good, but she needs to understand, and I need to understand, being married to her, that she has that aspect. What is the consequence of not utilizing those energies correctly? Depression, Saturn, and Mars anger. Okay? How can you offset that energy so it's not expressed in those manners, in that direction? You exercise. Mars is energy. Saturn rules the skeletal teeth, bone, skeletal frame. What challenges the skeletal frame and the teeth and the bones? Not the teeth necessarily, but the skeletal frame and the muscles more than exercise and working out. Okay? So if Elena doesn't go to the gym or doesn't work out or doesn't get a lot of exercise, she becomes depressed and she can become more angry quicker.
Yeah, that's how Jim is. Totally.
So when you know that about your mate, you know that there's a way to deal with it. For example, I have Mars square Mercury in my chart and the Sun. I'm also quick to temper. Mars temper is conscious, willful mind. If my will is challenged, well, okay, she says you will do this, and I say that's enough. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Right? You see that spirit rise up real quick in me. Okay, she knows me though, and she's able to get away with it because she knows me. She knows how quick it's over. If I get angry, she knows it's over quick. Because I'm quick to anger, but I'm quick to let go of it too. I don't carry it because the Saturn's not involved in this. You see, Saturn doesn't let go. It's always remembering, always reminding of all the things that's wrong in the past. But go back to Mars Mercury. When I get overstressed, I get hungry. I tend to talk too fast, which I did today. I talk very fast today. So she's been telling me all day, kind of like, to my irritation, telling me,
Slow down,
stop talking so fast. But she knows me well, and she also is very much in tune with me and where I'm at in my spirit, in my mind. And that disconcerts me a lot because, I mean, she knows when every mood I have, she has even physical feelings. She seems to always know exactly where I am. So I find that challenging because I don't want to always be revealed. You know what I mean? I know I don't feel good, but don't tell me I feel good because I won't admit it. You see what I'm saying? So that's how she, we've learned to love and get along with each other despite these things because we know our nature. She knows my nature. Unfortunately, she knows me too well. After 27 years, she should. But the point I'm getting at is that's not really a bad thing. I'm just making it. I'm saying unfortunately, it's fortunate, really. So she sees me well, she understands me well, and she knows me astrologically as well. So she's been around this enough. When we start to see people in the light of their charts, we start to see things and understand things, and we also can be more patient with things. Like she's very patient with me. I'm less patient because I got Mars square my Sun. Okay, I'm rush hurry. That's always been my life, Mars. Okay. Mars squaring Mercury, I like mental challenges, Mars, Mercury. Mars is challenge, Mercury's the mind. I like to challenge myself mentally. I'm not so physical like she is, which is Saturn Mars, which demands more discipline. Saturn demands discipline, remember that.
Saturn what?
Demands discipline. Saturn is the father of time, but he's strict, he's disciplined. You see the results of your lack of discipline and you'll suffer for it, Saturn's saying. If you don't work hard and do this, you're going to... So Saturn's all about work. Excuse me, Saturn's all about hard work. Saturn is all, I built my own life, I did it myself. Saturn is a self-made man. You see that? That's Saturn, right? So I gave you a sample chart of somebody today who I was going to use, and we're not going to name names. But that chart has a Sun square Saturn. So that is a man that's very time conscious, impatient, demands the best. He said just last week to his wife, I'm a self-made man, nobody's made me who I am. Yeah, I am. He is very quick to express his sense that I am who I am because of the work and things I've done in my life. So there's no recognition of a higher energy, higher power, higher kind of like, you know, God, I'm so blessed, God has blessed me. Yes, you see, it's not that, I deserve it. You see, that's the kind of energy there. So when you see a Saturn, then Saturn is also afflicting Mars. Okay, so that
Mars is okay, the anger, upfront, challenge, and speaks truth. Okay.
And it's a quincunx. It's what we call a 150-degree aspect. And Mars is also affecting his Venus. So that Venus is his mate.
Venus?
Venus is the mate, the relationships, his relationships with others. See, so when you see these energies, you can look at them and you say, this is called a yod in astrology. It's you've got one planet here, and then the opposite point would be an opposition. But if you go 30 degrees either side of that opposition, it makes a Y. From here, boom.
I have a couple of yods.
A yod, right. So yods are also, Saturn to me, when I looked at the chart, I said this person has something wrong with his heart, something to do with the rhythm of his heart, the timing of his heart.
How do you know that?
Saturn rules what? Father time?
Yeah.
Afflicting the sun is the heart. The heart is the sun.
The will.
Yeah,
the heart is the sun. So
yeah,
sun
the sun rules
heart.
your heart. That's it. The sun rules your heart. So her response to me was he's got arrhythmia. I said, what does arrhythmia mean? She said, that means that the irregular heartbeat. I said, that's Father Time, Saturn, the time planet, is afflicting the heart. You see this? So you see, when you're doing charts, you're going to get to a point where you can see specific things. Now, remember I told you something before. I may see something and not comment on it, or I may not think it's really too much of importance, but all these have potential. Now, you may say, well, every time I see Saturn 15...
So that's square, it's square the sun, and they're like 8 degrees.
Good for you.
Right?
You're getting good. So you see the degrees of difference. 8-degree separation is not much between Saturn and Sun. It can be up to 12, 15 degrees almost.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So you see that square. That's good. See, that's the best. That's good when my students start to see these energies and aspects, and they understand them, and they see that the orbs. You know, this means a lot to me because that means they're learning. You know, she's on the path. So here's the thing. You know, you see it. You say, well, Ron, is that always the case? Remember, I told them I have a student that she teaches, and she uses the word ever, always, and it always means this. And I say, don't ever think that anything is always. I do believe this. I was telling Elena this today. I said, you know, I believe God's given me a gift, okay, of interpretation. He's given me the ability to read the stars, if you would. I believe that's a gift that I've been given. There's a scripture that said Joseph, about Joseph in the Bible, the Old Testament. His brothers hated him. You know one of the reasons why they hated him? Because he was prophetic, and because the stars bowed down in obeisance to him. Listen to what that means. The stars bow down in obeisance to him. I believe that the stars bow down in obeisance to me. I don't mean that in an ego way, like, what, how great. I just mean that the Lord has given me the ability to understand the meaning and interpreting. And he could interpret dreams as well, Joseph. Remember that story? He was made, you know, they put him in a pit, tried to kill him. And his brothers did. And he ended up being rescued and became the chief right-hand man of the Pharaoh. And he saved Egypt from famine because he predicted a great famine, remember? And so all that story, that was Joseph. Joseph, with a coat of many colors. Beautiful story. You read that story, you get so much. But so much of it's astrological. There's another scripture in Numbers that says the stars in their courses fought against Sisera. Christians don't want to have any recognition of astrology's influence. I've noticed of late, though, now you got the blood moon prophecies coming from churches.
Yeah.
From churches. Blood moons, how can they, that's astrology if there's ever been anything.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a new prophecy out just recently that the Earth's going to come to an end on such and such a day, and it's because of Virgo, or the woman, and with it 12 stars around her head, and all this is, I said, my God, these people are going into astrology now. But, you know, something they condemned all these years, now they're promoting it in their own way. But the only message I'm saying is that A lot of people will condemn you for astrology, but they don't know the Bible. The stars fought against Sisera. It said the stars in their courses fought against Sisera. And guess what? He lost the battle. Sisera was a captain in an army. How can they fight against him if they have no influence? How about the Psalms? The Psalm says, the sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Well, I've heard of moonstroke, or sunstroke rather. I've never heard of moonstroke. And the sun shall not smite thee by day, the moon by night. It says, it is written in the heavens so that them that run may read. Interesting scripture. There's another scripture that says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Well, the original translation was not the heavens, it was the planets showeth the glory of God, and the firmament, the heavens showeth his handiwork. And night unto night showeth knowledge, and day unto day uttereth speech. And there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. What do you mean? How can the planets have a voice? And moreover, in keeping them is their great reward. Keeping what? The planets' positions, knowing where they're at. And what? By them, it says, is thy servant warned. How can you be warned? By what? Planets? By keeping their position? That's Psalms. It's all there. Okay? I mean, this astrology, the three wise men were astrologers. They didn't follow a star, a single star. Like, I remember when I got out of prison, I went to a planetarium in Columbus, Ohio. It was Christmas time, and they were going to show the star of the Magi. And I go in there, and they got this, it's Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, it's this, that, and the other. And I wanted to wake them all up and say, no, it's none of that. It's none of it. Just like Herod, 2,000 years ago, he couldn't figure out what that star was, because it was a star in the chart of a child formed by the relationships of those planets, making a perfect five-pointed star, which we do with our fingers even. You can make a five-pointed star. Kids, we did that from kids.
Yes.
That five-pointed star was a star formed in the planetary alignments of that person's chart. And at a certain longitude, latitude, they knew it would be formed, and that child would be born under that. As far as late as 1948, Tibets went out and found their Dalai Lama that way, astrologically. They knew the child would be born at a certain time and place, and they'd go find him.
Like, how would you know a child's going to be born at a certain time in certain place?
Because astrology is based upon time, date, and place.
Where the planets are. And then they'd go find them, so they don't know which child, but...
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are three wise men. They were three astrologers.
Three astrologers, yeah, exactly.
And they knew that at a particular time, these planets were to line up and form a perfect five-pointed star in that child. That's Da Vinci's Divine Man. You ever seen that? Where do you get that from? Da Vinci, right? So these are all mysteries. There's mysteries upon mysteries. That's so much been uncovered in my work, but there's more to uncover. There's always more. It's like I hope somebody carries my legacy on.
Yeah.
So I have a student in Newfoundland who, her name's Karen, and her husband. They're amazing people. He studies with her. You know, he's
awesome.
He's the fire chief in the Newfoundland county. Yeah. Wow. And he says we talk to each. You know, I tell him I love you. You know, and he says I love you back. He's a big man.
Big man.
Yeah. I said, boy, I hope nobody watches this. I said, I hope nobody watches this, and they're going to think we're gay. but you know, we have such compassion and love for each other, and her for us. I mean, they become like you have with us. They become so close. You know, when we were going through we thought we were going to go through the devastation of that hurricane. Who came to our rescue? Abby. You know, they did. You know, her daughter even, and her both. You know, it's just right there always. You know who your friends are. You know.
Of course.
But anyway, enough of that. So what I'm saying is that when you're looking at charts, you're looking at all these energies. You say, well, my gosh, you know, look at some of these things here. Mercury. Remember Mercury. Now look at Mercury's symbols. Okay, Mercury. Remember back to circle, crescent, and cross. Look at the symbol of Neptune. Neptune is the soul being pierced by the body. What does Neptune rule? Self-undoing, sorrow, prisons, monks, monasteries, people that deprive themselves of all material things. What? For their soul's development.
Oh, that's what they do?
Yeah. Well,
but then why do they have illusions, deception, betrayal?
That's the negative meaning of it.
Oh, so
Don't
Positive
always
right
throw
here.
everything bad on it. It's like, these are all potentially meaning, okay? Neptune in Pisces rules prison, self-undoing, sorrow, all that stuff, okay? So Aquarius rules freedom, brotherhood, liberation from all those things. It's kind of like another meaning altogether. It's radical, it's revolution. Uranus is the Aquarian age we're now into. So you're seeing despots overthrown across the world, you know, and people being brought down. We saw this Arab Spring, and all these people rising up. That's all Aquarius stuff, okay? With the revolution of bringing these despotic rulers down. It's going to be more of it, even though we saw a big bunch of it for the last few years.
Yeah.
And some of them have regained power. But anyway, so Neptune is the piercing of the soul for the what? For the redemption of the soul. I'm gonna sacrifice my world for my soul's sake. And that's people that go into monasteries and sometimes prisons in my case, okay? So my son, when I was born, is in the 12th house of prisons, okay? And Mercury, my son and Mercury in my 12th house, okay?
Oh, wow.
So, and then I have Mars and Pisces squaring off to that.
I want your time and everything again.
Oh, yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, so what do we see when we see this? So with Neptune, so that's piercing the soul, basically. And it's self-inflicted generally, but it can be, you know, through alcohol, drugs, things like that.
What does it mean when it's square, what do you call it, Jupiter?
Usually there's a lot of, it's wisdom,
good, right?
wisdom. Listen, anytime Jupiter's on a cross,
It's good.
it's good. Why? Because we are going to always be blessed by our suffering. I have Jupiter on a grand cross in my chart with Neptune, which is prisons. And
Oh, see, yeah.
see, it's opposing Neptune,
Uh-huh.
squaring my Venus and my Moon.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a grand cross in my chart. I have a grand trine in my chart also. 3 planets that form perfect 120-degree relationship. I also have a 5-point star. 5-point star in my chart.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, he told me that. And I know.
so
That's
what?
amazing.
Right?
So when you're looking at a
Doesn't
chart,
surprise me,
you
though.
say, well, I got. What was the question? Jupiter, and Neptune.
Jupiter squaring Neptune.
So we got. Okay. Okay. So let's just consider this, Kim. We're talking about Jupiter and Neptune on a cross. Basically, when they're square to each other, it's 90 degrees. That's a square, 90 degrees.
Yeah.
180 would be over here, right? Okay, a 90 would be here, 90 here. So in any portion of these aspects, 45 is half of a 90. That's considered an affliction. It's called a semi-square. You'll learn that as you study. Okay, so these aspects, for example, Jupiter square Neptune means that any suffering I go through in my life, I will be better for it. I will gain spiritual wisdom and knowledge from it. I'll be blessed through any suffering I go through, okay? You know, it's like my cross, sure, people say, you know, wow, you spent 9 years in prison. I said, yeah, but it was deep down in my heart, I knew it was a monastic existence. You know, when I went into prison, I think I shared with you 3 things they asked me about. My mother, my father, and this place. And I wrote, this place, reminds me of a monastery. Why did I do that? My soul knew why I was there.
Yeah.
I didn't consciously know. But my soul speaks to me. It's knowing. That's why when these psychological tests that say just put anything that comes to your mind, because you're letting the flow of your subconscious out now, and you're talking from the deeper part of your soul. So these are good aspects. And here's another thing about Jupiter. If Jupiter's on a cross, it means you'll resurrect off your cross. If you know praise and thanksgiving.
Ah, yeah.
See, you have to be exercising Jupiter's energy, which is faith and good. Jupiter's Jesus, okay? So you have to be living on that level to see the things happen in your life that's going to bless you. See what I'm getting? Also, Neptune rules Christianity. It rules the mysteries of Christianity, if you would. It's your beliefs, all that. Your beliefs would be influenced by me, because Jupiter's squaring off to that. And I've always pushed you, haven't I? Kept
Well,
pushing
you even said to me when you first read my chart, you said to me that I do believe in God, but I don't believe in organized
Exactly.
Yeah,
religion.
I've always
They're
said
at
that.
war here, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
and that's
yet-
true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And not only is that true, but it means that the teacher, the Jupiter, I'm Sag. I'm Sagittarius, Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius sun, Sagittarius Mercury, everything's Sagittarius Venus. So all of my chart, I am Sag, I'm sagacious. And my best part of me is when I'm wise. Sagacious means wise. Okay, sage, a sage, right? A teacher, okay? Jupiter rules, Jupiter's Jesus, okay? So in as much as I represent those qualities, I influence your beliefs, Neptune. And I'm doing, sometimes I have to push you. You notice how many times I've got on your case about getting, like you paid for my course and how many, you haven't done it. And I keep saying to her, yeah, she gives me $2,000 because I want to be sued. So see, for how many months have I been pushing you to get busy? I'm so thankful you came today. Because it's time you get off your duff and
No, I
start
want
doing it.
to. I want to.
No, but
I want to.
But everything's in your way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm not judging you. I'm just
You
telling
know
you.
that.
But I'm going to always push you because that's what Jupiter will do with
You know what the
Neptune.
problem is? Because you've got all this other stuff that your sisters,
Well,
your
like
family,
today, I
yeah.
was trying to watch a video, and I was being interrupted during the video. It was an hour video. It's Spirit Science. Destiny told me about this video. I'm going to send
It
you a
actually
link.
was an
It's actually
amazing
pretty
video.
interesting.
Yeah.
And I was trying to watch it, and I kept getting interrupted. It's like, seriously, like I can't even get an hour without being interrupted.
Yeah.
And this requires
what I
me
do?
to sit and think and
It does.
concentrate.
But-
you know,
And it's a bad thing, but it could be a good thing. I always have my phone on silent, and half the time it's never on me, so that I don't get distracted.
well,
Like,
I was
to
using my
make the
phone to
time.
watch the video. We
No,
were
I
down
know,
by
but-
the pool, you know.
You
I
can
know. I
Turn
should
it off,
put it.
get
I
your
should've.
notification, because it is
Can you
annoying.
turn your phone off when you're watching a video on your phone? I've
I
got
don't
you
think-
covered.
I just
Maybe
block.
airplane mode, maybe.
Yes, you're
As
right.
long as you're on
You're
Wi-Fi.
smart.
As
But
long as you're on Wi-Fi.
I
you
don't
can do
have
that.
like any notifications. You know, people say, "Oh, when you get a message, do you want it to go ding?" I'm like, "Nope, I don't want any of that because
I should
That's
turn
what
my
I should have
days. I should
done.
turn my
Is just shut
days
it off.
yeah,
And they're going off all the time.
yeah." That's why I keep my phone always off.
Well, my notification,
Like,
I did that with my texts where I don't get
Yeah.
the notification for it, but if I don't have my ringer off, then I'll know a
Yeah.
text came in.
because your phone goes off nonstop, and then by the end, like Father Time, right?
Yeah.
That is me.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, you've done all that, but you're not doing anything
That I wanna do,
that you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's like making the time.
So let's look at some of these other things. This is your chart, Neptune, Jupiter. There's a constant thing about squares you need to know. We always think, and I always teach, and people think, oh, they're so bad. You got squares, you got crosses. Without without the conflicts in your chart, you would never really get off your duff. It forces you to get off because it's not allowing you to rest. And these crosses, a grand cross, people say, oh, it's so bad you got a grand cross. Well, it's not so bad for me because I got Jupiter. I know I'll resurrect off my crosses. I always have. I've had things, I shouldn't be even walking normal today. I mean, I separated my Achilles tendon. You're not walking after that without a limp. And I didn't do the surgery, but something in me says, look at Ron, you can overcome these things. I've always been that way. I may not overcome everything, but I know where my limits are and I know what my body can do. But the point I'm getting at is that when you look at these aspects, you say, oh, it's so bad. Without the squares, you don't get moved, you don't get forced, you're driven constantly to grow in those areas. That's the positive side of these aspects. So I don't want to minimize that side of it when I talk about afflictions. But we're going to look at some of these. Like you've got, what is this? Something else here. We got Mercury and Uranus.
Uranus, I was going to ask you about that too. Like, what are the two lines on each side?
It's like there are two ears basically. It's just
Okay, so that's
receptivity.
not, so it is two crescents. Okay.
Two crescents
That's Uranus.
with a cross in
Yeah,
the
that's
middle.
what we were talking about. And,
And
it's got
the
a cross
spirit
and the
down
spirit
here,
at the
though.
bottom.
Yeah, the life is being, oppressed by the cross. This is the most intuitive of all the planets. It's intuitive.
Uranus is?
Yeah, it's high intuition. It's listening on the soul level and hearing what's really going on. And that's why the soul, when it talks about in the last days I'll pour out my spirit upon all flesh, those that can hear or are in tune with this energy are going to pick it up. The rest won't. It's like this, the conscious willful mind down here, the circle, which is down here, that doesn't, it's not picking it up. It's repressed by the powers of these energies above it. The other thing about it, if you notice what I wrote here, I said Mercury conjunct Uranus. Okay, this can be very eccentric because Uranus is rebellious. Okay, a rebellious mind.
Oh, no.
Okay,
no.
so if you have Mercury afflicting, or
I have Mercury that's one sign apart.
okay, probably
20.
Semi-sextile, 30 degrees roughly. But those energies represent eccentricity. The person that wants to be different, thinks different, doesn't think like the rest, it thinks outside the circle, that expression we hear all the time. So it also rules musical ability, Uranus very high. Usually I'll see people that have good musical ability, I'll see good aspects between Mercury and Uranus, or sometimes even conjunctions.
You have conjunct.
You do?
You have conjunct Venus. Uranus is
So
conjunct
Uranus
Venus.
is conjunct Venus, mine is.
So do you have your chart there? Did I give it to
I
you?
have it right here.
Okay, good. So the thing is that when you see these energies, they're higher energies. Uranus is a hard planet to interpret sometimes because it's almost it's radical, it's extreme, it's eccentric, it's all those words, but it's rebellious too, and it's shocking. Shocks.
Yep.
We talk about earthquakes and all that. That's all this New Age stuff. Aquarius and Uranus. Okay, very radical thinker. Surprise, shock. All that's people also that have Mercury, Uranus often have a very good sense of humor, and they do it by shocking you. Okay,
That's me.
you have that Venus, Uranus aspect.
Well, she has Venus in Sag,
Let me
but then
see it.
it's Uranus is in
Okay, Venus.
Sag, but it's they're both in the 7th house, right?
Yeah, she's
Seventh
got
house?
exactly
It's
conjunct
conjunct,
Venus.
right?
Yeah, it's conjunct Venus. And
Even if it's in even if it's in a different sign.
Yeah, but it's trine Saturn. Ooh.
What does that mean?
Oh wait, no wait. Here it is. Here it is. You have Venus trine Saturn, but you have Uranus squaring Saturn. They're one sign apart.
What's a trine mean?
That's a good aspect. Very favorable. Uranus Saturn.
It's an aspect.
But squaring Uranus squaring Saturn. See, Saturn. Uranus means you
Speak straight. Shoot to me
Oh,
straight.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
I don't get. You know me. I want to grow.
Get off the floor when I'm done with you. So no, but Uranus is shock.
Okay. Yeah.
Surprise, right?
Yeah. Rebellious, shock, surprise.
Saturn is down and dirty.
Saturn is down and dirty.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Saturn is crude sometimes.
Yeah.
Coarse.
Yeah. That's me. Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't have come out of your mouth, lady. Right? Those are Saturn stuff. Saturn is like.
That is so funny. That's totally Kim though, because anything comes out of this girl's mouth.
Well, it's just to shock and make people laugh. You know what I mean?
I know.
I know.
That's what it is. It's just.
It's not judgment.
It's not in a mean way.
It's a positive.
Yeah.
It's a positive.
But
you know, also Saturn. You got to remember Saturn. Saturn is the word satirical.
That's me. Yeah.
That's what that came from. Where?
Yeah.
Saturn.
Saturn.
So satirical humor. Okay, you're
That's
good at
taking
that.
the truth on someone and then making fun of it.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
do
my
that all
father.
the time.
That's how my stepfather
Had that energy.
has
So,
that.
what does it mean though? Because you had said my Venus and Sag are.
The Saturn and Venus are trying.
Oh, it's Saturn and Venus.
Yeah, your Venus is at 8th degree Sagittarius. It means you're wise in relationships. You're good at. You're really good at. How would I say this? Bringing wisdom into a relationship, and actually, you know, you tend to be the smarter in a sense of your mate.
I am.
I should.
I am.
But
And he gets so confused he can't talk.
That's funny.
But it doesn't mean that they don't
No,
have
it doesn't mean
skills
that.
and
It
talents.
just-
and
it's
everything.
just different.
But I'm talking about psychologically.
Yes,
You're very smart.
I'm with you. Yeah.
You know, and it's trying to Saturn.
So it's square. So Uranus square Saturn is that type of personality. You're saying, right? My stepfather has that.
Yeah, same thing.
And you just said, yeah, so you're like my stepfather, you said, yeah.
Yeah,
she said that yesterday.
He was like that. He would joke. He was a jokester, like always. And he would take somebody else. He would make fun of someone else for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But joking,
lighthearted.
Yeah.
Well, because I always laugh at my own stuff
Well,
too.
Saturn likes to poke fun at others.
Yeah, that's me.
That's how he was.
You put it with Uranus square. Means that they can shock you by that.
Yeah. And he was,
Oh yeah.
It was always.
And the interesting thing about that Saturn is, Saturn is good at satirical humor, which is poking fun at others, but it's also it also can turn on a person's faults with humor, so that
that's me.
It makes them feel that you can get away with it.
Correct.
Kind of, because you use
It's like you
humor.
don't want to call someone 100%, so you kind of say what you want to say in a humorous way, hoping that they understand what you're trying
and you
to
can
say.
laugh it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the quality. So when we look at these aspects, if I look at this one, mental Mars aspect, or I have that, for example. Mind is Mercury. The ancient name for Mercury was Thoth, Thoth. What does that sound like to you?
Thought.
Huh? Thought.
Yeah.
Thought. Mercury is thinking, thought. So the ancient name for Mercury was Thoth. That's where we got our word thought from. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we look at this, if you have a Mars afflicting Mercury, Mars tends to do what? Go fast, rush. Elena's always saying, slow down, stop talking so fast.
Oh, okay.
Because my mind works fast, it's very rapid, and my speech follows the pattern.
Me too, yeah.
So that's not necessarily a fault, but it can be. It can be hard for students if they're trying to learn from me. I'm running my mouth so fast. So when you look at these conflict, anger, it can cloud your mind, when you have anger. It can cause cursing speech, which again, Mars is anger. It manifests itself, and it doesn't matter how destructive you are with your speech. That's Mercury, Mars. My mind thinks fast and in danger. I'm very quick to react with danger.
Nice.
That's Mars, Mercury. We've been in confrontations, and I remember San Francisco, a guy walking up on me, I've had more confrontations in San Francisco than any place else I've ever been. But he started goose stepping behind me when I was walking with Elena. Right up on me and behind me like this, I told Elena, I said, when I turn, be careful, come and turn fast. And I did, turned on the guy, and he's a little black guy's gonna beat my ass, and I said, come and get it, because I'm angry now.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also smart. So Elena remembers this. I reached in my back like this, like I had something in my pocket. I didn't. But I said, don't make me.
But he didn't know.
I said, don't make me do what I'm going to do to you. I said, one of us is going to die. It's not going to be me. It's my words to him. And of course, that's put a stop right there. He didn't want more to do with me. But I found many times where, I'm very quick thinking anger when I'm...
I'm the opposite. Like, I'm not like that at all. I panic.
No, but I get into action right away.
Yeah.
Mars, it's like, you want to go there? In my speech. Today, at my age, I get my ass kicked. But I still will face somebody off. I won't back down off anybody. I've never done that. In prison or anywhere. And if someone pushes me to that point. So, see, I'm talking about stuff. That's my Mars and Mercury. It's what a tough guy I am. Mercury, Mars square, It's kind of like, that comes out too. I think I'm tough, right? Well, that's Mars, Mercury, So it can be damaging and hurtful to me, but I've survived all these years. But when you look at these aspects, you see a person, their spirit, their soul, and you have to look at yourself honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And see, who am I? Do I fit the scheme of things? Let's go over here to Saturn to Mars. We talked a lot about that. Holds on. Excuse me, Zeus. Knocking things over. Saturn to Mars, it's holding on to anger. Saturn always lives in the past. And it's going to relive those hurts over and over and over again. Okay? I think we see those qualities in ourselves sometimes, and we say, oh, it just doesn't, I'm not like that. But if you really face it, look at yourself, there can be that tendency. But you may marry somebody who will help get rid of those things, qualities, because they'll bring them to your attention and they'll say, look at, let go of this, let go of all this stuff in the past. You may have had parents that helped you do that tend not to forgive. You see what I mean? So you have that quality too. A lot of it comes through the training we have in our life. So
I bet you my father did too, and I don't even know when he was born, so I can't even do it.
holds on to past hurts, okay? So, that's anybody that has Mars Saturn. In relationships, this is good for women because you should know
totally
these.
try to figure it out though.
Yeah.
But Mars is emotional. Why is that good for women?
Huh? Well, because if you're looking for a relationship and you're getting into a relationship where you see these energies, one of my clients on the East Coast of West Coast of Florida, I've done her charts every year for years now, and she didn't have any relationships, didn't know anybody. She was in her 60s, I'd never find love. And I said, you're going to find two men, and you're not going to know what to do with it. She said, no way, Ron. I said, yeah, you will. Within 6 months, you'll be in 2 relationships. She ended up with a relationship.
You get that from her chart?
Yeah. But she
Well,
ended up...
because he did the transits,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, progression.
And
transits.
you looked at just Saturn.
The whole
you looked
chart,
at the
yeah,
aspects.
the cosmic key, the whole thing.
Well,
yeah.
you looked at that. You looked at the transit Saturn, and with the
Right.
natal chart, right? So
Right.
you looked at the aspects.
That progressed moon and new moons, yeah. And what happened was she ended up with JR, and I shouldn't use names, I suppose, on here. So, and she ended up with another relationship with somebody else, and the one person had this aspect, Mars Saturn aspect. I said, if you ever hurt him, he's tendency never to forgive you.
I should see if Dean has that.
And what happened was...
You haven't gotten his time of birth yet.
I texted
Doesn't
twice.
matter with you.
I texted him twice and he's not getting
He's
back
not
to me.
going to tell you that.
So he
You
didn't
gotta do it
know.
yourself.
Let me finish the story. So he didn't know. The one person didn't know about the other one, right? He didn't know that she had another person in the background. And so what happened was
Oh no, she had them both at the same time.
He picked up her phone one day and he found all the messages between him and between this other guy. And so of course, he could never forgive that. I mean, he was so vindictive. And yet she cared most about him. But you know how that goes. So the story is, I told her before it ever happened, I said, if you ever do anything to hurt this man, he's never going to let you live it down. You're going to never live it down. You'll always be there. So that's the problem with these aspects sometimes in charts. You need to be aware of the person you're dealing with and what afflictions they're having. And, if you have a moon-sun affliction, like your daughter, by the way, Kim.
I'm listening. I'm sorry. I was trying to get my husband.
Okay, if you have somebody that's got a big fight between their will, the sun, will, I will do this. What's the key word of Leo? I will.
I will, yeah.
Okay, and the sun and the moon is what? I feel. But your moon is your subconscious, and that's your habits. So what happens with a sun opposition moon or square is you have a conflict between will and feelings. And how does that manifest? The moon is your nurturing needs. The moon is the need to be mothered. What happened when you cried when you were a baby? The mother did what? Suckled you, didn't she? Right? Put you to breast, try to comfort you. The best way to get you to stop having pain and suffering and crying was to feed you. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens as adults?
We turn to alcohol for that.
Could be, okay?
Yeah.
But we seek out something to bring comfort to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so we overeat.
Yeah.
Always in the
or
refrigerator.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, frustration.
But the sun is I will,
It's your willpower.
just the willpower,
And the moon is your
is your emotional. Okay.
it's your habits, your habit patterns. It's sow a thought, you reap an act.
Yeah.
You ever heard this before?
What was that? So,
Sow a thought,
you reap
you
an
reap an
act.
act. You sow an act, you reap a habit.
yep.
You sow a habit, you reap a character. You
I
sow a
remember.
character, you reap your destiny. That's Emerson, by the way.
right.
So the point I'm getting at is that the soul, when the will and habits are at war with one another, the will usually loses, unfortunately. the habit patterns tend to take
Yeah.
over, okay? So when you have your child here, who is born under a stressful aspect between sun and moon, the one thing you have to make sure and try to guide her away from is addictions.
For her.
Addictions.
See, I thought it was gonna be my son. Jeez, okay.
Well, I don't know your son's chart, but I'm just saying with a
Yeah.
son. So anything that's addictive, that habitual habit forming, overeating, weight, people with this aspect often are fighting weight all the time. Why? Because their will cannot discipline them to stay away from the things they should.
Oh my God, now I gotta look at Bella's.
Okay, so anyway, we could do this for another 4 or 5 hours, but we've been going for a
Yeah.
couple hours. I just want you to get a feeling of this. The moon is, what did I write here? The moon is pure absorption and reception. It's colored by aspects. In other words, the moon is picking up everything that it's getting from other planets. It's not in itself so much of an influence as much as it's sucking up everything in the chart. Okay? So, okay.
How big can the degrees be between a moon and a sun when they're in aspect?
Here's the rules, okay? Major planets, now I stretch them a lot. I'm not stuck on, and there's ways would teach you to understand what I mean by that. But the sun's orb is pretty wide, 15 degrees we say.
Okay.
The moon is 12.
See, so Bella's got that aspect too.
Okay, now listen, the major planets are 8. The minor planets would be Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus, is 6. So let's say we had an aspect between the moon at 12 degrees, it's got a 12-degree orbit, and a minor planet, 6. How many does that add up to?
6, 18.
How much is half of that?
9.
So that would be the orb, technically.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing about this. Let's say, in this chart,
So that's how you do it. You add the two together, and then you
divide them in half.
Divide them into half.
Yeah, but
Bella's got that too.
it's real important. You look at this. If I have a planetary aspect of a cross, let's take this for example. Let's say this is at 10 degrees. Let's just say it's at 10 degrees of Sag.
Bella and Lauren love it.
And let's say over here you got the moon, and it's at. Let's say it's at. Let's see. What do I want to put this at?
What is that over there? The one that you
The
just...
moon.
No, the one before. The one that you just did. Before the moon.
Jupiter.
Oh, Jupiter. Oh, okay.
Neptune,
okay,
like in
you're
your
doing
chart.
the Jupiter. Okay.
Okay. And let's put up here. Let's put Mars.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now let's say this is a 10, and this one is at 20, and this one are at. Let's say this is at 5
Okay.
degrees of. Let's see, Gemini. This is Gemini. Cancer, Leo, Virgo. This would be 5 Virgo. And then down here is Pisces. This would be at. Let's put this one down here at. Let's put this one down here at, let's say 7 degrees Pisces.
Okay.
Now, watch this. This is real important. This is something they won't teach you in the schools or in the books or anything. You need to. If this planet moon is 20 degrees and it's not in orbit, is it?
No.
7 degrees and 20. It's how far apart? 13.
So you add. Yep, 13.
Okay, and that's a minor planet, which we would say 6 degrees. So 6 and 12 is 18. Divided in half would be 9, right? But this is 7 and that's 20. That's way out of order, isn't it? But pay attention. This planet is aspecting this one by 10 degrees, right? This one is 15 degrees out of orbit, these two here. Okay? 15 degrees. But this planet is influencing this planet at 7. It's only 2 degrees apart. And it's influencing this one at 10 because it's only 5 degrees apart. So
That's
all these 3
opposition,
planets are in aspect each other. And this one is only in aspect to 1, Jupiter, by orbit. Right? You got this?
Yep.
If it's this is by 10 degrees, it's only one planet. This planet is only, the moon is only making 1 aspect out of all these by what we consider the rules of astrology. Disregard them all when you see this. Because if this is affecting this, and this is affecting this,
Then
and
that's
this is
affecting
affecting
that.
this, they're all influenced together. They all come together. In other words, the orbs don't mean a thing. You'll not get that in any astrology book. You won't learn it except through a teacher. This is the person that has got a grand cross. Even though anybody that does astrology says, well, Ron, how can that be a grand cross? How can these be? They're 15 degrees apart. And that's supposed to only have an 8-degree orb, and this is a 12. Because they all are touching each other by the fact that one hits the other, makes them all come together. Okay, is that clear? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's something you'll learn as you work with this. But people get caught up in these little, there's a scripture I love. It says, the spirit giveth life, but the letter killeth. And the letter is the law, the rules.
Sure.
You need a spirit,
Yeah.
understanding, and that's
Yeah.
what you get with astrology.
Okay.
You know, it's crazy because if you look at Bella's chart and then you look at Jim's chart, it's crazy because Jim's chart, like,
Give us the
they're all of his planets are all in the
Quadrant down there,
look at them all, and then look at Bella's,
same thing.
except in a different.
Or the 7th house, or yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
isn't that crazy?
What is it? They're a lot like Jim and Bella?
Well, it's not the same house, but it's crazy how all their planets are all in the same
Yeah.
or in the same house, different houses, the same house.
This is his is mostly in the 3rd house.
And hers are all in the
That is
same.
quite amazing, quite frankly. That many planets, it's called Concilium when you have that.
What does that mean?
I don't know,
Nothing?
but I know it means something. I think that very often children will have very similar charts to their parents. My sons have all had Gemini moons, for example, almost all. The influences are there.
Yeah.
Almost
I'm gonna have to compare hers to mine too, because I have a lot of planets in the same house as well. No, I don't. Not really. I only have 3 in the same, or 2. 2 max.
So why don't we go eat?
Yeah.
Want to call it a night? We've gone for a few hours here. It's what time? Yeah.
2 hours.
7:30, that's good. But this is what we should be doing every week.
Yeah, you have to.
You know what I mean? You stay on top of it. I'm very
I
proud
don't
of
want
you.
to.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Because even though there's many things going on in your life, you managed to grab a lot of it and get some meaning out of it.
Don't be that proud. Don't be that proud. She just did this last night, so it's fresh in her
I'm
head.
still proud of her.
I'm totally kidding.
Okay. Okay.
I'm very proud of her too. And I want her to take more time out in life for herself, because I told her she's always giving to everyone else, but she's
Well,
not feeling
Let
herself
me
up.
have your chart. Let me tell you why she's doing what she is. She's got Mars conjunct. Look at this. Let me show you something here. Look at this amazing chart. See, look at this. Saturn conjunct the moon in Cancer. See that? Saturn conjunct the moon.
Yeah.
Saturn conjunct the moon in Cancer. We're going to go eat on it. Okay, well, you know what Saturn conjunct the moon means?
Wait,
First of all,
let me tell you.
Oh, it's depression.
No, it does, but that means more than that. Okay, it's in the 4th house, the moon. It's in its own sign, the moon. It's in Cancer. Okay? So, what are we seeing here? We're seeing the mother, moon, mother. Okay, the mother of mothers, that's Cancer, moon, right? That's its own sign, it's in its own house, it's in its own element, okay, water, mother, moon. But it's conjunct Saturn. What does that mean? It means that she's the most responsible of
She is,
women.
and that's what I said.
But what is Saturn about? Responsibility, duty, obligation. Who is it that does all of the work of family matters when things come together and something happens to her father, or there's somebody
Yeah,
needs
it's
to
always
take care of? Who is it that's always doing all the hard work, the disciplined stuff that nobody wants to do, throws it always on her, and everybody expects her always to do it?
That's right.
Because you know why? Because she's the most responsible woman. Moon, Saturn conjunction is responsible, working, hard-working woman. And that's her. Beautiful chart. And somebody you can depend on that will do the duties, the responsibilities.
Yeah.
That's what Saturn is calling forth from her. Okay, obligation, duty, responsibility. And particularly to who? The father, Saturn. Father time.
All the time.
See, it's all there. I mean, her chart's amazing. Anyway, we can...
I got some stuff to
Come here,
fill you
let's
in
get
on.
I bet you do.
I do.
We get some pictures
It
here.
was actually pretty good news.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we being recorded?
We're both, yeah.
Look at me.
Whoa.
Thorn in between two
Can you
roses.
stop talking for a second? Thank you. Just, hey, oh. Nice, one more. Let's get one more. Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you.